Hey, Oliver, how you doing, my friend?
Hello. Pretty good, pretty good. Back in London for
Yeah.
Indiana Jones. Holy shit.
Yes, welcome back. Yeah, thanks for that training session that we had. That was fun, man. That was
Yeah,
fun.
absolutely. Holy damn, you're strong. I'm unbelievable how sometimes I see these bodybuilders like you, and then they pick up the 60 kilos, and then shit, I still have a long way to go in strength wise.
Oh, God bless you, man. I think what works in my favor is that I'm a bit more compact. You've got a lot of body to fill out. So, and when I saw you doing some shoulder presses, I was thinking, wow, that is traveling a far distance, you know?
Yeah. Well, I once had a conversation with Bjorn Hafner, the strongest man on planet Earth. And I asked him, well, how do you see our height versus the strength? And he says, well, if you're on the same weight and same training level, a taller person will be weaker because he has to live longer. The weight is further away, so it's heavier. But the thing is, our frame is so big, you can go beyond a level that a normal frame can't. So eventually he was like 210 kilos or something. I guess he has proven a point that you can go beyond, the normal size frame has a limit, and a giant frame you can go beyond. That's what he meant, and I guess he's right.
Yeah. Who is that guy? There is what is that bodybuilder? Forgot his name now. Forgot his name. I should have written his name down. There was a guy. Oh man, he's got blonde hair. I think he's Austrian or German. I know he was on Generation Iron. Come,
Oh, sorry.
there's loads of guys that was on that, but he was pretty tall and he filled himself out. Yeah, it's admirable for guys that are so tall. Yeah, major respect. So, Oliver, you are known as the Dutch bodybuilder,
Mhm.
actor, model, and founder or CEO of Muscle Meat. And
Yeah,
you're mainly known because of your crazy height. How tall are
yeah.
you?
I'm 7'2", which is 2 meter 18. Yeah. So I'm the second tallest of Holland. There's one man that's taller than me, but that proves how tall. Yeah, it's pretty big. My brother stayed at 2 meter, and my father as well. And why I've become like one head bigger, like 18 centimeters, has always been a question. I did a lot of research in hospitals with blood tests and stuff, and they could never find anything. So they just called me. The doctor just said, "You're just a natural giant." So okay, thank you. But that's good because no diseases, no heart issues. Yeah.
Yeah, because you do hear stuff like that with people of such monstrosity for a height. They tend to have some sort of heart murmurs or something like that. It's like everything.
Yeah, no, one of the most well known is Marfan syndrome. So then your limbs grow longer than your torso, and you got some crazy stuff in nature. But yeah, I'm lucky.
Oh, that's a blessing. You said your brother and your father are tall as well. Is that right?
Yeah, they both stick at 2 meter. That's something like 6'5", and my mother is 5'11". So that's 1 meter 80, I think, in
Yeah.
translation. So
Wild.
yeah, no, it's a tall family, but I went a little bit extreme. Some say it was because I was always drinking 2 liters of milk a day that I became so much taller than my brother. My brother also was smoking 2 packs of cigarettes every day during his puberty. That doesn't help. So I was always healthy, and maybe that helped a little bit. But it's of course in the genes. I get so many questions on Instagram, private messages from people outside my country, like, how can I go taller? And it's thing is, as I read about it on Google, it's just the limit is already in your genes, but to reach that limit, you just have to live healthy, else you won't reach it. But you can't change the maximum.
Yeah. I get that. And I'm like 5'10" and a bit, you know? And yeah, how can I be taller? Like, I don't know. I don't think there is a thing. Yeah, I think in China they might have used some sort of tools to try and stretch you out or something like that. I don't know if that's a practice still happening right now, but no, I wouldn't advise anyone to do that either. But yeah, that's interesting. I want to say congrats on the recent the feature in the movie, The King's Man, the King's Man. It's called. Is that right?
Yeah, it just got released, and I haven't seen it yet. It's crazy, right? Because it was filmed 3 years ago. It just been released, and I was in Holland where the cinemas are closed when it got released, and now I'm back in London, so I'm going tonight. I
Oh,
got a lot of responses on my Instagram, like, "Oh, great scene! Boy, oh boy, you were hard to kill," that kind of stuff. It's already in the trailers that I'm going to die, so it's not a secret anymore, so I can say that. But yeah, it was amazing that after such a long journey of 10 years of bodybuilding, 3 years of searching an agent, I finally got my first casting, and the first casting was the Kingsman, which immediately wanted me. From there, their balls started rolling into becoming a movie actor.
that's amazing.
That's a very short version, but
Yeah, we'll get into that. Well, I was just quite interested in this movie itself. You kept quiet about it for. You said it was recorded 3 years ago.
yeah. So post production, the editing of the movie is always 1 year. So when you film, you're always, as an actor, you're always 1 year behind. So you film a movie, then you have to wait a year, then you see it. But when the movie was finished, also the editing, then COVID came in, and Disney kept postponing it for 2 years until the right moment, until cinemas worldwide were open. And they of course had so many movies to release, like Black Widow, which I was also in, and yeah, it took a long while,
Wow,
3 years.
wow! And now we're here. Amazing. So back to your height. I'm still quite amazed. I want to know, was you an an average size baby, or was you, or was you
No,
an
I was
average size baby and then all of a sudden sprouted out, or what was your weight as a baby? Do you remember?
and I have to ask my mother about the weight, but I do know the height. It was a normal baby is 50 centimeters
Okay.
on average, and I was 60 centimeters. So that's already 20% bigger.
Right.
And yeah, I do remember when I was 14 years old, I was already 6'5", 2 meters.
My
When
gosh.
I was 19, I became 2 meter 18. The hospital asked if I wanted to go on to hormones to increase the speed of puberty, so you grow less. I never did that, and I'm happy about that, because nowadays that's illegal, and some people can't get children because of that method. So it's also illegal now. But yeah, that's on some point in my life I was growing 3 to 4 centimeters a month. So that was then you every month you have to buy new clothes. That's how insane it can go.
How was
Yeah.
that at school? Like, was it easy to find friends? Did you have lots of friends and it was good, or was you the odd one out? Did you feel
Yeah,
a bit?
well, my school was really easy. We had a nice school. There were no real bullies there, and if there was, they would get rid of by the teachers. So that was all good. And on high school, there was no bullies either, but I was just a very quiet person, because I was my 14-year-old boy that's 2 meter 6'5" is hard, because you're already a head bigger than your teachers.
Oh my gosh.
So it makes you a bit insecure. And of course, I wasn't training, so you don't know anything about food, and I was really skinny. And yeah, I didn't fit any clothes, because you have to buy XXL to make the right size, but a 14-year-old kid with XXL, yeah, it was all a mess.
Wow. When did you discover bodybuilding? Like when you thought, do you know what? I need to fill out this tall frame.
It was probably when I was 19 and very insecure, because then I wasn't 2 meter, but 2 meter 18. And then when you go on the street, supermarket, city, everybody is staring at you. So I don't know why, but someday I figured that, okay, I can't change my height, but I maybe can change my appearance. And that's why I started going to the gym. Well, actually, I started going to the gym because of a knee injury. So I had to train my quads to make my knees stronger. And I liked it, being in the gym. And then I guess like, oh, well, maybe I can also train upper body. And then I found some, there's like everybody starts on random schedules on the internet. And I already gained 10 kilos the first year.
Oh.
And that is very motivating because I already made the begin photo, and a year later, like, oh, well, I don't do good because I went from 80 kilos to 90 kilos, which is still very low weight for my height. But it gave me motivation, right? And there was so much to learn because in that first year, I didn't even know what protein was. So I would go to the gym and then I would go to the snack bar, just eat fries because I was like, yeah, I need to gain weight, right? So I need to eat the dirty stuff. And I did that for 2 years. So I gained 20 kilos. I went to 100 kilos. And after that, it became more serious with the dieting. Oh, is that protein? I also need protein instead of fries. Okay. Yeah, it was a whole journey. Then I met a friend of mine who was already bodybuilding competition-wise for 10 years. So he teaches me all the exercises and a real diet. And like every year from 80 kilos to 155 kilos, I had to improve something each year to keep gaining. And well, as you know, the higher you get in weight, the slower it goes. So for the last couple of years, I've only gained like 2 kilos a year or something, but I'm still progressing, even not in weight, but still in the physique. You still see changes. For instance, I was 155 kilos 2 years ago as well, but with a lot high fat percentage. So my body is still improving. Yeah.
Yeah. And how do you find keeping up with the eating? How much calories do you consume? Do you know?
Well, when I started, I only ate twice a day, and then you started eating 3 times a day. Eventually, I figured out that my diet was becoming so big. What people say is that oh, it's ridiculous to eat every 3 hours or 2.5 hours because it's about what you get in the end of the day. But if you have this frame, the diet becomes so big that you have to spread it. So my meals are now 60 grams of protein per meal and around 1,000 calories. So I'm around 400 grams of protein a day and between 6,000 and 7,000 calories just to maintain the size. That's
Sorry,
a whole build. There's a whole build up from
could
year
you
one
say
to
those numbers again, please?
depending on which diet I am. But the minimum is 6,000 calories, but I actually lose weight on that.
Right.
So normally I'm 6,500 or 7,000, depending on the role. Yeah, and people all say, yeah, you're crazy, 400 grams of protein, but people don't understand that you can't just up the carbs and the fats. If you have to eat so many calories, then it would go out of balance. So you automatically upgrade the proteins as well, and your body also can use that as a energy source. So it's become very extreme, but I just know that this is the maintenance level, and yeah, it's like I said, each year you keep increasing the diet and the trainings, and eventually you end up at 7,000 calories.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking to myself. Like, I enjoy training, and I train for me. I train because I enjoy it, and I'm thinking if you're in a movie and they need you to look a certain way, you have to be very specific with what you're eating, and you can't allow yourself to fall, I guess, off the wagon, as they say. Like, are there certain requirements where they say, all right, you need to make sure that your physique is looking this way, you have to weigh about this amount or anything like that? Or is that?
No, people are already so surprised when they see my height. I'm the only one that sees the tiny differences in the mirror. So when I had a role for a boxer, I went, instead of 7,000 calories, I went to 5,500, and I lost so much weight, like 8 kilos into 1 month, I think. And that was good on screen, right? But my next movie was being in a suit, and there's no use of being so much lighter. So I gained back those 8 kilos to look more buff into the suit. So that's the tiny changes I make. But I have no idea if the director sees it or anyone behind the camera. You and me are more focused on the body and the mirror, right? But I mean, if you play in Rocky or Creed movie and the whole movie is about being the boxer, then I can only assume they want to see the six pack and everything, of course. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So for
Oh.
me, it's just being the tall, huge guy.
um, which is interesting because I'm sure that's one of the main reasons you're selected for some movies because of your, because of your height. Um,
Yeah.
when did you discover you wanted to be in movies? Like, what was the spark of interest, the aha moment or realization that, you know what, this is what I want for my future?
Now you have some free casting agencies. You can write yourself in online in Holland. And actually, yeah, I don't know who it was, but he said, "Why don't you do that just for fun because of your height?" And I did, and I did some fun background things in Holland, and I noticed that I like the camera and being on set. And the bigger I became, the more interesting it has become because eventually I got 2 commercials in Holland, and I saw the interest about the height and the width that I got. And you see these movies like Troy, where you see Nathan Jones who's like 2 meter 5, an enormous beast. You see the Mountain in Game of Thrones, and you see these guys who are in the suits like the Predators, from Alien vs Predator, who are around 2 meter 10. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, well, that's freaking awesome, but I maybe have a good starting point because I'm bigger than all these guys. So that's where it all started, like just a dream of being one time on the movie screen, and that happened with The Kingsman, and not knowing that one movie after another would come from that. Yeah.
Incredible. Incredible. Oh, well done, by the way. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. But that whole journey of from Holland doing commercials to castings of a movie, that was a total different world, and I didn't expect that because I thought it would work just in Holland, like signing up for these agencies.
Mm.
But you couldn't sign up. These are all agencies, so you have to have like an agent. I had to find someone that believed in me, and that took me around 3 years for someone that believed in me. Nobody understood, and I got rejected many times. Yeah, we can see that you're big and tall, but we don't know if you can act, and it's not for us. That was kind of the the baseline, and I wonder if they now see me in all these cinema movies, if they were like, "Oh fuck, we messed up." So I was really fortunate to find my agent who understood that. Let's give it a shot.
That's really good. You always hear about that, people who they try to make it in the movie industry. Let's say those that are in US, they'll fly from one part of US to LA because of Hollywood in hope to make it, but they end up just working in a restaurant all their life because they never do. They're trying and trying
Yeah,
but
but even if they get a part, that's what I hear so much when I was in Los Angeles from these other actors I spoke to, is that they can live from it for the money they get from such a role. Is that they can live from it for 3 months, but there's no idea if there's a next part, or if you have another audition, or if you have audition, if you will get it. Sometimes you don't hear anything for a month. It's a very insecure job. So all these people I talk about, most of them were Uber drivers next to being an actor.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was fortunate enough to build up my webshop muscle meat before I went into acting, to always have a base to fall back on.
Right.
I think only the top of the top actors have a good life as an actor, or you really have to have something special that you go from job to job, and that is also very hard because there's
Mhm.
so many people that want to be an actor.
Right, right. So, how many movies have you done so far?
It's on my IMDb, but I would guess around 6. So we started with The Kingsman, then I went to Gangs of London. It's really a good series. You should see it. It's like an 8.5 on IMDb.
Right.
And Black Widow. Then I went to Knuckle Dust, which is on Amazon Prime. Then Miami Heat, which was just a small movie in Miami. Just I did it for the fun of it.
Mm.
And oh yeah, then we did Borderlands with Kevin Hart and Jamie Lee Curtis. It's like a video game. It's going to be released the end of this year. And then yeah, we're at Indiana Jones, so 7 movies. I'm not on 6 anymore.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah. So it was quite interesting. Sorry, what was you going to say?
Yeah, no, that all happened in 3 years, and actually 2 years if you don't count the COVID year, because in COVID there was 1 year of no castings at all. So like 7 movies into 2 years. It's such a crazy ride from one movie to another. It's very blessed with that.
Yeah. So the more you get in, the more people see you, the more I guess you'd be requested from different productions. Is that how it works? You know?
Yeah, the bigger your IMDb comes, the more trust you get from casting directors. So, oh, okay, he has already experience on a Marvel movie or or Amazon Prime movie. That's what we noticed. We also noticed that you can ask more money the more things you have done, because I'm not anymore just a giant from Holland. Now I'm that guy from Kingsman, for example. That works as well. And the thing is, what I noticed, because they told me, for instance, I know that the people from Black Widow called the people from the Kingsman to ask, hey, what is this guy about? Is he nice to work on with on set? Can he act? So people talk, and that also helps with the snowball effect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think it's kind of interesting. I went cinema to watch Black Widow, and I didn't even speak to you. I didn't have a conversation with you at that time, and I didn't even know you was, featured in this movie.
Yeah. I actually, funny story maybe also for the listeners, is that I didn't want to take the part in Black Widow. I don't know, how don't you want to take that part? The script that we got was so small. It was a 1 page, just an arm wrestling contest. And I said to my agent, but I said, if I continue this career, Marvel's like my end goal. Like let's build up a career and then knock on the door of Marvel. They need a 7'2" super giant or whatever.
Yeah.
But heroes are still left in the comic books. So I don't want them to use my face. And my agent said, but we have to, because your IMDb list only has 1 movie, and if you can get Marvel on it, that will give you more jobs. And like, okay, let's do it. The good thing from that is that I did that scene that you have seen, and the writer and the producer and the director came up to me and he said, your scene was so good, but you're so big on the table, we can't just let you be a normal prisoner. So we want to make you a Marvel superhero. Like, what? So they said, well, yeah. So we looked up in the comic books, and there's actually the Hulk version of Russia called Ursa Major. So he transforms from human into a bear, like the Hulk goes into this green monster. So there's an Easter egg in the movie that when the Red Guardian says my name, he says Ursa, and that's the clue as an Easter egg that I was Ursa Major. That was really cool. That I was really happy that Fancy took that job. They also extended my role a lot. Instead of 1 week filming, they asked if I could stay 2 more weeks, but those scenes were eventually not used. Not because they were not good, but the editing room said to me that we simply filmed so much that a total of 10 scenes were not used in the movie. So they just had to select. But it was a great compliment that I extended my role on set, because they were so happy. So I was really, really happy that I eventually said yes and not no.
Well done. Well done. Well done. Yeah, I'm sure that's opened a lot of doors for you for the future. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I remember that when they gave me that news about being a superhero Ursa Major, and I got back on the airport, I was walking and actually got tears. So happy as a little kid. Who becomes a comic superhero? So it's so cool.
God bless you, man. I feel that. I feel that. I feel that. I'm sure with the movies that you've been in, you probably need to do stunts and stuff like that. Do you need specific training to become a stunt person? I've heard different stuff.
Yeah, so the Kingsman was all about stunts. Of course, also acting, because your facial expressions and stuff. But I'm not a stunt actor, so that casting was all about, can he do things we want him to do? Is he not scared? Can he fight? Can he do weapon fighting? Can we learn him in choreography? And eventually, yes, because you will see the movie. But the thing is that they hire me as an actor, but because they can't find a stunt double, I have to do my own stunts. And what I notice is, in the bigger the roles become, the bigger the stunts become, and the more dangerous it's become. So I already had to say one time a real no, like, guys, if with my body weight and my size, if I fall the wrong way, then I'm probably going to break something or whatever. Sometimes they don't realize that I'm not just a normal size. You know, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. That's really true.
Yeah, yeah.
And, yeah, how it normally works is that if you're hired as an actor, for example, you pick up the motorcycle, you drive 3 meters, like 3 seconds, then it's cut, and then the stunt guy jumps on and he goes off the grid, or after jumps off the building with a motorcycle, right? And, not that I'm doing that kind of big stunts, but it just shows that how the film industry works, and it doesn't work for me.
Right, right. So is there like a different kind of insurance for stunt people or something?
I insured myself in Holland for if I somehow get disabled, that there will be some money for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's how far I was thinking ahead. Because you have seen, maybe you heard about it, the Resident Evil woman. She was riding a motorcycle, and I'm sure I'm going to do that in the future because I have a motorcycle license. And they changed something on set, and she wasn't told, so she crashed onto it and fell, and she lost her arm. So these things are not jokes.
Right.
But yeah, no, that's the only insurance that I did myself. And on set, everything that happens on set, they take care of you. That's what I know. So I guess if you injure your foot and you need to go to the hospital, they make sure of the bills.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
that's good to know. Well, hopefully you don't need to use the insurance because an arm is missing. But yeah, that's kind of good to know. What was I going to say? Have you met any negative people whilst you've been on set? Have you come across people that you thought, do you know what, I don't really want to work with this person again? You don't need to give any names.
No, without saying names, I already told you that Marvel Black Widow called the Kingsman, right, about my reputation, and later I found out why, because I was on Gangs of London, and the coordinator told me, "I'm so happy that we got you and not Mr. X." Because when I worked with him on the last movie, he didn't want to listen. We couldn't teach him anything. He was so arrogant, and which meant that he was happy to work with me because he could see that I was a good listener and exactly did what he wanted, and respected him as my teacher. I've seen like 99% of the actors are totally awesome, especially on Indiana Jones. You know, I've become my best friends with Matt Mikkelsen and Boyd Holbrook, and even Harrison Ford is the awesome dude. But I've been on a movie where the main actor, you could see that he didn't enjoy being on set, and that he says some things to people, and I'm like, holy fucking shit. But it just makes me be sure that I always want to stay myself. I don't hope that, imagine that if I ever become a really big actor worldwide, that I'm not going to be like him, you know? So that just reminded me, like, okay, just respect where you're coming from, and I was at the bottom and now I'm here. So it's good to see all these actors, how they behave on set, and yeah, 99% is good, and 1% is like, okay. Yeah.
Oh, cool, cool. You know, it's interesting because yeah, as you start to get featured in more films, and maybe at some point like a main, you know, the leading role, you know, life will test you, and you might find that you need to adjust to this new life. And you know, we all change because of our circumstances, and sometimes it's a question of how much do we change, and do we change for the good, you know? Do you have any measures to help you to maintain grounded as a good human being? Like
My girlfriend, she keeps me in control.
All
No,
right.
but I got a good sense of being okay. I mean, just a simple example there. One film set was so warm and the sun was burning that these girls were hired to give umbrellas every time we had a break, and they would just hold it above your head. I'm like, oh, that's very kind of you. And at the end of the day, one of the girls came up to me and said, "Thank you for being so nice to me today." I'm like, oh, why do you say that? And she actually cried because she said the other actors were so mean to me. Like, holy shit! So these things keep you in luck, or how do you say it in English? They uh, they make sure that I stick to reality, and I don't want to be a diva on set anytime.
Yeah, yeah. It puts everything in perspective in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, yeah, I think we spoke about the stunts. What would you say is your favorite movie you've worked on? You've mentioned Indiana Jones a few times, but what would you say is like, oh, there was the Kingsman as well. Like, what would you say? Oh my God, this was
Yeah, to be honest, it's hard to pick one because every movie had its own charm. You
right.
know, Marvel was being the superhero, Kingsman was because my first movie. I guess I have to choose the Kingsman because it was my first movie. They gave me my chance. Everything was new. Working with a high-class actor for us brave fiends for the first time. I think Kingsman will always be the number one special, but the other movies were cool as well. I can't say yet what character I'm playing in Borderlands because I'm a video gamer. I play a lot of video games. That was really cool to be there in that character. So yeah, every movie had its charm, but Kingsman for sure. Yeah.
I get it. I totally understand. Um, so you have an online meat company, isn't it? Is it online?
Yeah, and it all has to do with why I started this journey. So my whole journey started with being insecure why I started bodybuilding, but food has, as I told you with my diet, I didn't want to be cooking every day. At least I was, but I got so sick and tired of it. If you have to eat 6 times a day and 6 times got your chicken, there has to be a better way. So together with my brother and his wife, we invented this company that made cooking so much faster and making getting the right macros into your meal. So we started Muscle Meat on the Now, and we started with only 2 orders a day, and we're shipping over 100,000 packages a year now. So it has been crazy, right? And after you, and the reason why it's so important for my movie industry is that, yeah, oh, I think I already told that, is that it allowed me to have a backup, but also to go on the road and to find an agent. So flying to Los Angeles, a normal person can't do because you're in the office working for a boss. Doing an audition on a Tuesday afternoon is also normally not possible because you have a boss to work for. So I was very fortunate that we started this idea, and which gave me, and then allowed me to pursue my other career.
Yeah, flexibility. So is it like a meal prep company or is it like raw meat? How does it?
We have everything. So if you really don't want to do anything, we have the high protein meal. So you just put it in the microwave and then you're done. We have the ready to eat products, which means we have bags of chicken, vegetables, and carbs like sweet potato, and just you mix your own meal together, which is ready to eat. And we have the other concept that if you want to make it all yourself, we have the raw products as well. So we're like an all-in, all you can ever wish for supermarket for people who work on their body. But it only started from 3 products that were not in the supermarket, and now we have over 250 products. And that's all because people were so happy. We just kept for the first 5 years, we always still are. Every profit goes back into the company. We take a very little salary, and we're moving now to a new building, and we're expanding so big that our bank account will be on zero again. But yeah, that's how business works. But it also made me not have an investor, you know. So the bank account might be on zero again, but if you see what we're building and how many customers we have, and that I own with my family 100% of the company, that was totally worth it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. You've also got a clothing brand as well, isn't it?
Yeah, that's another story because, for instance, I'm 6 months away from home now because of Indiana Jones. And my girlfriend was working in an office, and she had this idea, um, because I have so much trouble getting jeans and t-shirts my size, to start our own company for tall people above 1 meter 90. So I think that's 6'3" in feet. And
Still tall.
I invested my movie money into that. And that web shop has launched 3 months ago, tallorigin.com, and shipping worldwide. And that allows her to travel with me, because a web shop you can do online as long as you have somebody that packs it at home. So I guess that was one of my best investments ever. So now I have my girlfriend with me, which I've been with for 7 years, and we don't lose any time because of the movies together. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So you have a lot of tall people that is buying from your website.
Yeah, it's a niche market, but if a tall person finds you, he's so incredibly happy, because even 6'3" or 6'5" or 6'9", you can't go to just a random normal shop, and people of, sorry to say, your size might not realize that, but our size isn't there in the store, and it makes sense because there are so little people who are so tall that they wouldn't sell it. So we figured that that there just needs to be another store online for tall people. Yeah. So at the moment we have a lot of jeans and joggers, and at the moment we're creating the t-shirts and hoodies, and eventually we want to have everything, but we're building up from the ground, and the jeans are already selling great.
Awesome. Are your main consumers from the Netherlands or other places like US?
So muscle meat is Holland, Belgium, and Germany. And Tall Origin, because it isn't food, we can just ship it with DHL Express by plane. So even if somebody orders from the USA, he has it within 3 working days. It's amazing that how the world has become. So we can ship the jeans everywhere within 3 days. That's insane.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I was working on a film project, and there was lots of tall people there. So if you need any...
Oh, I should have walked there with my tickets. Hey, Origin.
Oh, gosh, it would have been an opportunity, I swear. Because I told you, I was just around the corner from you at the time when you was working on Indiana Jones.
Yeah, because people don't know that we met on Arnold Classic maybe 6 years ago. And we got in contact again because you heard that there was a giant on set, and we were actually filming next to each other but different buildings.
Yeah.
On both of the cinema movie. That's crazy how small the world is.
I know, right? I know. It's wild. So what's your future plans, would you say, in terms of movies? What are you hoping for yourself?
I always try to have something to wake up for, like, why do you get out of bed? And movie-wise, it was always to get one time on the cinema screen, and that happened with The Kingsman. And then I reached that goal, so I made another goal, and it was, I said to my agent, I want someone to be Marvel, and that already became my first movie. So then I had to expand again my dream. And I see that my roles are getting bigger and bigger. So eventually I hope to have a main part in a movie. And that's getting really, really, really close. So the auditions are already there. So that's the end goal. Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Amazing. And are you thinking about expanding your food company into something else, like having something else on there? Or what would be your future plans for that? Any future more growth on that, or are you happy where it is?
I'm also just going to a new building in 2 months, and that's going to be so huge that I can actually build my own gym there, and it's going to be a supermarket with a gym. So that just keeps growing and growing, and we will see where it ends. The Origin just has to expand, and my movie career, if you would have told me this 8 years ago, I had nothing. I was living on a 40 square meter apartment with a cat and a bird and a girlfriend. Yeah, coming from there, I wouldn't have believed if you told me. So it has been a very fortunate road, but also a lot of hard work. I mean, creating Muscle Meat was at least 12 hours a day of work and so much stress, because the first 2 years I couldn't take any salary out of it, you know, because I was borrowing salary money from my dad, and we already repaid him. And yeah, this was don't hope that people think that oh, you're so lucky, so easy. Oh, holy shit, it was a long road of stress. Yeah.
Little do people know all the groundwork which is required for everything, you know, all the casting you'd need to do, going around to try and find an agent, and just building up a company from the ground
Yeah,
up.
constantly prove yourself and not disappoint people, and the money issues. It's sometimes I do understand why you can also be happy with a 9-to-5 job, because after that it's done. You know, and you can do what you like. And this lifestyle is for yourself because you like to do it, the training, the eating, the 3 companies, the acting. But I have to look out that you don't get overworked. And I don't get overworked at the moment because I enjoy it. But imagine that if you don't enjoy it and you spend so much hours, and I would not mentally be able to do it, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get it. A lot of people, they somehow do it and complain most of their life, but yeah, it's great that you're doing stuff that you really enjoy. Look, Oliver,
Yeah.
it's been absolutely incredible. Thank you very much for your time today. Is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah, maybe some people are listening who want to become an actor, and maybe I can give one big tip for it, because I get this question a lot of people on Instagram. You know, when you're not friends with someone, the messages come in your outbox,
Yeah.
your requested messages. So I do read them, but it's impossible for me to reply to everyone. But the main question always is, how did you become an actor? I think the first tip I can give people is do the small things. Just be background on a movie set to see if you like it, and try to be in front of the camera to see if you can put an act together and not be nervous, or you really do think you have some sort of talent. And then you can skip my 3 years, because I was going to Cannes Film Festival and writing all these movie people, but that's not how it works. You have to write the film agencies who have agents to get to the movie casting. So I didn't know that, and I took a different path. You know, like going to Cannes Film Festival, walk there for 4 days in the hope that some kind of producer would see me, but that's just not how it works. So I want to give that tip to people.
Right. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I hope whoever's watching or listening can take good note. Where could people find you? So you're on Instagram? Are you
I try to make a lot of stories every day on Instagram so people can follow my journey. So yeah, at the Dutch Giant. It's my nickname.
okay?
It used to be my real name, Olivier Richter, but the spelling is very different, so nobody could find me. So the Dutch Giant is the easiest I can give you guys.
Do you use any other social media at all, or is it just Instagram?
No, it's too time consuming for me. My girlfriend says I have to start a TikTok films because there's some tall people that have 10 million followers because they're tall. I guess I will start that someday maybe, but I'll stay with Instagram for now.
Okay. And your website, so what's the one for Muscle Meat?
Yeah, musclemeat.nl and dutchgiant.com for the supplements, and tallorigin.com for the tall people clothing line.
Origin.com. Okay.
Yeah, I'll give you some discount codes. You can put it in the comment if you like, comment section.
Awesome. Yeah, just speak it out now. What would they be? You're going to share it.
I have to make them still, but let's make it Dutch Giant, so DG10. DG10.
DG10. All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. And that's for everything. That's for the food and for the clothes?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Awesome. Look, Oliver, it's been absolutely incredible. And we got to get another training session in, man.
No, absolutely. I'm still here for 5 weeks, so I'll see you soon.
All right. Sweet. Nice one, brother. You take care.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Nice one. Bye.